Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final episode of Gloves Off of the first season. I'm your host, Chris ZX, joined today by trusty co-host Koopa.
What's up?
Chillin', man. So today, to be honest with you, I was gonna open up with like a big monologue because that's kind of what I had in mind. But then I was just like, I don't want to go 5 minutes and then just be like, oh yeah, hi Koopa, and then But but if I may, since it's just the two of us, I want to monologue for just a moment.
Please go right ahead.
Mostly about what today is going to be like because last week we had the opportunity to talk about something kind of juicy. When I say juicy, I mean like Kotaku article worthy, big tournament kind of could be considered a flub, even though we kind of reframed it. And then even this week, well, first of all, that episode was received really well and got a ton of attention, so thanks for that. And honestly, I think the information was pretty good. And part of that is because we were very close to it. I was a part of the stream in the area. Koopa, you were casting at the exact time that was happening on the other stream. Like we were
hmm
close to it, so we were able to kind of like give really really good kind of good what's the word I'm looking for here, like context.
Insight.
Yeah, insight, even better, like good insight to the situation. So while that stuff's all well and good, there's reasons for that, and part of the reason for that is because there's kind of a running dialogue here in New Jersey Smash specifically, one that we've kind of been putting there, and it's at this point for Ultimate in the form of seasons. And I kind of want to, since we're looking at the last episode here, explain a little bit of this because it's still something that kind of comes up and is foreign, and New Jersey's still like relatively small scene, even though we've garnered a lot of attention. But the reason I want to get into that is because there has been quite a bit of drama recently on Smash, like Smash Twitter specifically, which is like the big source of news, information, and anything else you would want within the Smash community. So I kind of want to bring this up because it's stuff that we're not really that familiar with here. Not that we're not familiar with it. I mean, we know all the players around, like around the world. We know a good portion of the relationships just by all the people involved, but we're not that close to it. And a lot of it is sort of like I don't know what's the way to put this. Sort of like morally, like it doesn't really have to do with anything constructive. It's sort of a sinkhole for like, oh, he did this, he did that. There's
Yeah.
this relationship here, that relationship there, and talking about that stuff and feeding into that is just like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like much substance to me, even though it's like what gets a lot of attention. And Koopa, I know you wanted to open with this, so I kind of want to pass it to you.
Yeah. So number one, I want to say the season's idea was awesome. I think it's a great way of showcasing what I've been saying Smash kind of needs for years, or like not. I mean, not needs to be conveyed better. Is like better storylines. Like it's a really strong way of just like kind of marking everything, seeing the growth between people from the beginning of one season to the end. Because obviously, spoiler alert, but the power rankings could come out sometime next week, and we will be revealing it next week because I saw somebody ask in the chat about that. So that's going to be happening next week, and we'll get our first real benchmark of how everything looks. But there's one thing I wanted to stress this weekend, and I've been seeing a lot of like, it's been a lot of disturbing and like upsetting stuff on Smash Twitter. And
Mm-hmm.
first, I want to precursor this by saying that like, yes, there is a lot of drama is a word that comes up. Obviously there's petty stuff that happens in our everyday lives between some banter, some shit talk that might seem awry or like coming from a bad place, but that's usually all said and good. But like I just wanted to say this because we don't really usually talk about this sort of stuff very often. But if you guys ever see anything that's like out of place or like not okay, like please make sure to tell somebody. Like we obviously we want to put on the best show possible. We want to put on the safest show possible for for everybody. And there's a lot of, I don't want to talk too much about it at all because I think it's been kind of there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of potential legal like implications that could be in play here. But I just want to say, before we start, that if you guys ever see anything that's out of place or like not okay, or something that's going on that's not okay, like please tell somebody, whether it be a TO, an adult, an authority figure. Like just do that. Do yourself a favor, and keep the scene a better place because the Smash community is awesome. But yeah, season one looks like it's ending it's rounding out to a pretty nice end, Chris. If I'm gonna bookend that with some good news.
Yeah, well, and just a final note on that. Like, I think it's best to notice we haven't mentioned anything in specific or anyone in particular, and mostly because it turns into gossip at this point. Whatever happens that might be right or wrong is kind of irrelevant. The more you feed into that situation, the more it creates itself. So, with that in mind, yeah, season one's been great, and I'm really thankful that I mean, especially we've done so much talking about the scene at large. The past several episodes we kind of covered Summit. We covered some other tournaments not in the area, and kind of put our stuff on the back burner. And it's mostly for the obvious reasons. We're trying to grow a new audience here. Trying to kind of tap into an audience that already exists, which is kind of like the Smash community as a whole, but as I kind of see things unraveling here, I'm noticing just how many new fans we're getting and just how many new people are even coming up to me at like the weekly or the monthly and kind of being like, hey, like, checked out the podcast, just learned about some tournaments and, it's really cool. I want to get more involved, this, that, the other thing. And let me just tell you, that shit drives me. I fucking love that. And the reason is because that helps everybody and that is constructive and that's something you can work with. So within this first season, obviously we're at the point where I would say the most interested people are in like segmented seasons are for like the power rankings, which we're gonna cover some of that later. And what we're gonna cover about is sort of I guess how it's going to work. The fact that there are you could basically apply. Is that the word? Or like there's like a form you could fill out now, and we'll
Yes.
get that in a bit. So that is already available, and go ahead and apply if you've been coming to events because you really never know. And the cool part is we've seen such a mesh of things in season one, from like melee and PM players to like veteran Smash 4 players who are still good to even the specific case of Leon, who came on late in Smash 4 but is like obviously going to be ranked this season. Like there's actually been some cool stuff. We've gotten some visitors. The season kind of ended with a little bit of like New York kind of coming in and taking some money. Like there's a lot to hold on to. So what do you? Yeah. So I don't know if you saw like last week even. I don't want to go totally recap yet, but like yeah, dude, like that was huge because like we got to see a tournament where Mr. E kind of dominates. Meanwhile, like James played Mr. E in like the first episode of the Forge and kind of bodied him in like winners finals and won. But this time, Mr. E like distributes the bodying, and people are hyped because people of Mr. E has been around for a while. Like it's
it's been a fun ride, and like the season idea definitely panned out great because obviously when you stack out the math, like you're gonna get like 3 monthlies a season and like a handful of weeklies a season. Like we don't abide this for everybody. Like obviously like this is strictly an MHG thing right now.
Well, yeah, this is all experimental, and the only way we're gonna learn if this is a good system or if it works is by like doing it and sticking to it. So that's like where we're at.
Yeah, and I think that also plays into the submissions for power rankings because when I talk to like other like community leaders and stuff like that from around like other places, obviously like, they don't do that. Like they don't give people the option on whether they want to like submit their results or not. They just kind of like bank on everybody knowing everything and like to kind of just give. I wanted today to be kind of like an insight into what like really goes on into this because like I feel like
there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into this, and I can't speak for how other regions do it. Like we tried to get some other guests to maybe talk about like how it goes in their neck of the woods, but that unfortunately everybody's schedules didn't line up properly. But it's there'll be other Tuesdays.
And I kind of think this is a good day for this though, because this is a final episode where there's plenty of context to be had, and there are a lot of new guys. Like in fact, like Stuffy42, I see you in the chat. Like even just now, like saying like, wow, this is interesting because I'm new to this. And that's the whole point. You should be able to be new and jump right in. Like there's no reason you can't be a part of anything going on. It's just that's just it. It's like becoming a part of it.
Yeah, I agree. So like yeah, but when I talk to other regions around, whenever I travel, they're always like, yeah, we don't usually take submissions from our players. We just kind of like know the people that are going to be, on the power rankings and we just kind of sort them accordingly. But the way that we do things differently is that obviously Chris alluded to it that we I forgot who coined this. I think this is around the time where where RJ kind of took a step back to deal with some life stuff because RJ was usually the one that was in charge of the power rankings initially.
Well, yeah,
And
this
then
was Smash. This was Smash 4. We're talking, by the way.
So we're back in Smash 4. Like, obviously, RJ and some other powers in charge were the ones that determined the power rankings. And then, RJ had to take a step back due to life reasons. It happens to all of us. And he handed the reins off to James. And then I don't know who exactly coined the idea of it, because I came out kind of late. I was only on from like 2017, 2016. So I was kind of like halfway through when I eventually got, added onto the PR panel itself. And, we started doing a submission form, which I think is a great idea, because not only does it lay out the information perfectly for you, like if people fill it out right, first and foremost.
Yeah, let me get a view of that real quick while you're talking about it. You have that linked on your Twitter, correct?
Yeah, it's on my Twitter page.
Okay.
So, we construct a form. And everybody has kind of gotten a hang of how we do it, like, because we like to be very thorough with our results. Like, I think the more, it's a lot to kind of take in, and we ask for a lot of information, and it's a little overwhelming sometimes because you don't really realize it until somebody like submits and you're just like, oh my God, this person went to like literally fucking everything. So like now you have but it's good because the more data you have, the more you're able to sift through. And by the way, it's appearing right now on your stream if you're watching at home. You guys have until April 1st to submit. Please, for the love of God, make my life easier. I'm begging you. But it's we give people the form to submit. It's a really smart place to to have the information laid out in front of us. And obviously Google Drive is great. You have the you have the editability of a spreadsheet. It'll the information's laid out, and then it gets relayed back to us, who's this I believe it's the 5 of us on the panel, which is me, RJ, James, Biddy, and Hungry, and it gets laid out to us, and then we discuss it. And I think something that people don't understand, that God, I hate that. Yeah, so because we kind of lay things out and we kind of make it I hate everything. Yeah, but yeah, you know what I mean. Like, there's a lot of we make things very easy for everybody, and I can't speak for how it works with other regions, but ever since we kind of started doing it this way, where somebody kind of takes the reins, and then we discuss things in an adequate and fair manner, and we give ourselves plenty of time. Usually, I think this is the first time we've kind of mapped it out right, where we give ourselves enough of a buffer to be able to get everything done.
Well, that's what happens when you schedule things 3 months ahead, and that's the whole point. Like, having cyclical seasons, it gives you something to shoot for. So the reason there aren't these things really organized in other scenes is because well, first of all, we do have a little bit of a benefit in New Jersey here. New Jersey is one of those states where it's highly populated and there's a lot of things going on. So I was able to get a monthly going in Central Jersey and North Jersey, and then there's a ton of other monthlies around, and then there's weeklies. So geographically, it kind of worked out where I could have a season's worth of material that covers several, a couple regions. Eventually maybe we'll get south or something, but yeah, dude, it's this stuff is quite a bit of work in terms of who beats who and what might be tiebreakers, and because there's a lot of tournaments, way more tournaments than you think there would be. I think that I have a lot of tournaments on MHG right now as a channel, but that's a fraction of what's actually happening around the state.
Yeah, there's usually something every weekend, whether it be here, and we travel pretty well, so we're able to go to New York a lot of South Jersey guys go to Philly a lot, and vice versa. And that's also why I think this form is very important, because you can you can kind of see how well traveled somebody is, and I think that plays a big part, because I think being able to perform well out of region because of the way we weigh our events is very, very important. Because that's another thing that I think kind of gets lost in the sauce sometimes. But we kind of tier our tournaments a little bit differently. And by the way, can you guys help Biddy come up with a new tag? Because I think he's trying to.
He's trying, man. No, I'm watching. He's trying.
Yeah, shout out, love Biddy, big fan. But and Biddy's another one, and Biddy's a perfect example of somebody that always lays out his results very well. Make sure everything's labeled correctly. Bid is a hurricane out of state, because I look at some of the wins he gets.
Oh my God, dude!
I'm just when were you in Texas? Question mark.
You got that. You got that Mewtwo King win too. It's kind of hype, right? Like everyone knows
Yeah,
Mewtwo
man.
King. Obviously,
Big
Biddy's obviously really good in a pro if you beat Mewtwo King.
hell yeah.
So,
If you has, rumor has it, Biddy was in the Smash documentary.
oh man, I think I've heard. I've actually think I've heard that. So,
Yeah, but like it's an interesting like little thing, and this is kind of obviously like a buffet style like podcast. We're kind of just jumping back and forth between things, but like the process of doing this is very tedious, and I think a lot of people don't understand like just how hard this really is, because then you have to deal with, once you get the results, you have to, you get everything ranked out, and then you have to strategically plan everything to where you can get in. If you're lucky, you have a friend that's an artist that has their commissions open, and like they work relatively fast, because I think that's always the hardest part about getting the rankings out, is like timing it so that where you need to commission an artist like you're like buying drugs from somebody, because it's like, hey, like I need I need 15 Smash characters on a power rankings, but I don't know the names of the players, and I don't know the order in which the characters are going to go. But I just need like maybe these like 20 characters, because that's what I think is going to be on the specific rankings. And they're just like, please stop talking to me.
yeah, pretty much, dude. Yeah, there's power rankings. I think eventually down the road, this kind of thing could be like somewhat automated, but there's really no way to know unless like you actually try shit.
No, honestly, there's a friend I have in New England. There's a gentleman by the name of Big Spill who has like a ranking system that he like sets up, which is like, it's strictly just to show like wins and losses between people, and I think it's very very interesting. And I wish I knew like the specifics of it exactly, but like, you I'll plug his Twitter at the end of the podcast, 'cause, like,
I'm already ahead of you.
yeah, that's my guy, and like he's and Has can vouch for him too, but he's just like really good at setting up the stats for things in New England. Like every region has a stats guy in it. Shout outs to Spill and his plethora
Yeah, that's a lot of
of
Kirby's.
plushies.
Holy
Yeah.
hell!
Yeah, if you scroll far down enough, like you'll find something about like the bracket or whatever he uses. I think we use the
Oh,
site. I don't know if that's the site that we
like
that
bracket
they
with the
use.
two A's. Is that what you're talking
I
about?
think so. Yeah, but he uses it like a lot. So like it's very interesting. He's like one of the few people I see that like utilizes it properly.
Ah,
And like,
here we go.
yeah,
We got a form fill for New England as well. That's good.
yeah, man. I'm a big fan of
And
Spill, and
mind you, I'm pretty sure New England is doing some degree of like season stuff, and I'm pretty sure that happened because we were talking to Haz about this early on.
yeah,
So
that's actually something that I knew a bit about, which is where I first heard the season talk. Is that I forget where it was. It was like I think it was a weekly in Boston or Connecticut, but it was like a few years ago. But they would do seasons and like episodes for a lot of their shows, for a lot of their tournaments, and that's why I think they just kind of like abandoned the idea, because like I think the people that were in charge back then just like aren't in charge anymore. But like,
and it's one of those things. I don't think it really would have worked for us if we jumped in late. Like we jumped in literally the release day of Smash Ultimate. We were on this actually before Ultimate even started. Like the whole idea to do this like originated a couple months before the game came out.
yeah,
Um,
we're believe it or not, Chris, we are slowly approaching the 1 year anniversary of the podcast, like
Yeah, like
like
very,
annually.
very, very on the low, very on the low, but we're getting there, and it feels pretty good. Like just some milestones, just today. Once again, like today's a little bit of a smorgasbord and a little bit of like a tying up loose ends sort of day. Especially because we haven't really done that at all this past several months since we started. Like we've kind of kept it on the straight and narrow in terms of like, okay, here are the popular things happening, and here's what you should know about them, and like here's a spoonful of fucking Gerber. Like we kind of did some of that stuff, and I think that stuff is really what makes us unique. But there's just so much more, man. And even around here, I'm trying to remember where I was going with that, but I kind of lost train of thought because I fed into the Gerber thing too much. But it honestly felt supernatural. But I don't know.
Speaking of supernatural, I'm pretty sure they're canning it.
Wait, no, but like I think what I was getting at is I don't know, man. We got
Yeah, no, I get
smorgasbord of topics is
like,
what I was
yeah,
getting
there's
at.
just like because we want to be able to convey the Smash scene a way that's easy for everybody to understand. We talk a lot about the big tournaments. We kind of break it down
There
for
we
the
go.
folks at home. We break it down really well for the folks at home, and then we kind of we feed that back into the local stuff. But the local stuff tends to take a back seat sometimes because there's just been so much
Well,
happening.
plus, like, if you're not from around here, it's not as interesting. And that was actually a big thing that, like, that kind of threw everything off. Like, the podcast sort of took a little bit of a tone early on before we got into Ultimate. Like, okay, here's local results, here are things that are going on. But kind of learned, like, how restricting that can be. Not that we can't cover that, because we want to and we will cover that. And there's probably going to be some more stuff as seasons progress that are, specific to that. There is, like, a connection to the outside world. And I kind of look at a lot of this as like case study. Like if you have a good idea, prove it, proof of concept. So
I
this
agree.
isn't any different. And I think I remember what I was saying. So we started off at the very beginning of Smash, and that was sort of a unique thing because I wouldn't have been able to do that in Smash 4. Like I came in as like a streamer a year late, right? So having season 1 start then is a little awkward. But if there's like already a platform, like even if it be MHG, like and think big guys that maybe like you could sort of base the beginning of a game off of a channel, even if it is a little channel that is only at 1,000 subs, which, by the way, reached 1,000 subs just before the end of the first season. If that doesn't feel maybe just a little bit serendipitous, I don't know what does. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Shout out
so
to you guys.
yeah, man. Well, hey, shout outs to you, man, because again, like this isn't even something we mentioned. So like Collision, big ass tournament, lots of attention around it. The most viewed piece of content from that on MHG, because keep in mind, we only streamed pools, doubles, and like some squad strike, not even all of the finals of squad strike. So like the VODs are kind of like it was nice to have them, but like, kind of more like fan service. But like, yeah, the most viewed piece of content was the podcast. So that was kind of like that's kind of nice. So that just is more motivation for me to introduce like newer stuff that isn't just like tournament content. Tournament content necessary, but like not the only thing. I think a lot of times, even myself, like until recently as streamers, get so focused on just getting good content and getting the players, but it puts you in this position of really being at the whim of like who's at your tournament. But if you're growing up an entire scene, like there's always something to watch for, and that was kind of the goal. And you guys kind of create your own story every time you show up to an event. The idea is just kind of keep things organized, and we're doing just that because this season, like it started off like let's make moves, like okay, so we've seen a lot of things this first season, right? So we started
Yeah.
off with let's make moves, which was like kind of like it was an amazing event, and it was like one of those first in efforts.
Yeah,
And
it was like it was like advertised as like one of the first big like your first step in the pool of Ultimate. So like that was the first big benchmark, and then Genesis kind of came around, and then as you continue to like fall down, like the game is drastically different, and like even everything around here is like drastically different than it was back in December.
and
Like, the
it's
game's only still a few months old.
it's only been 3 months, right? So, and that's kind of the idea is we've been able to see so much of these things happening. We've kind of been following them. I don't really know if there is like real replayability for things like a podcast like that. I would like to think that there is, especially the way that we do it, where it's not just like here's everything happening recently, but like here's some context in the way shit works. But like, yeah, dude, like even locally, like the first monthly we had, which was Platinum Star, like we got to see a monthly that capped out pretty quickly at that. And the cool part about that monthly is kind of the stuff that we've been driving home, right? Like we got to see a grand finals with Gons's, Simon, who won Gons a lot of money the first month this game came out, but now he hates the character to death. And we got to see
How dare
Leon.
he.
Yeah, dude, I'm saying. And then we're seeing like Leon, who was like came on late, kind of making his dominance known early, like so that was like the first one, and then the second one we got to see the classic James versus Wishes. Sorry,
Yeah.
I almost called him Vivid. I almost called him Dusty. But yeah, so we got to see James versus Justin.
Can we talk about how like even Leon has like gone through like different character arcs? Like
Yeah,
and,
in like 3 months, dude.
yeah, it's like when your favorite character like dies in a sitcom and like they get replaced by like it's like the actor like quits and they have to get replaced by like 3 different people.
Yeah, and this one's got a
Like,
different haircut. What's that?
yeah, like Leon like started with Game and Watch, and you saw him playing Ridley there, and then he eventually like settled down and started playing Bowser, and he's made like a really good name for himself. So, like I said, like the ever changing like state of just us in general. And I think other regions talk about this, but like we're just one of the few with the podcast
Well, yeah,
that gets to like
we're
talk about it out
actually
loud.
tracking it and kind of giving a little context. But like, yeah, even so, like we got to see Gons Leon, and then we got to see Wishes and James at the Forge, and then the next monthly we got to see Wishes and Jackal, which is kind of cool. Then Leon and Phantom, that was the week that everyone was at Frostbite, and then like at that point, James and Wishes kind of lighten it up along with some of the other guys who went there. And then we got to see DeBuzz come in and take our money in like the last episode. Then we got to see Mr. E at the last monthly. So just like New York is just like, you guys are kind of established. All right, we'll come and take some money. Like,
Yeah, for real. That means a lot. Like it tracks a lot about how we do, and like also just how good like the other regions around us are. Like it's really interesting, and like we obviously have a lot of ideas going forward. I'm very upset that I wasn't able to go to a single Forge all season, but unfortunately that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah,
sometimes.
we definitely we missed you, dude. Like you were busy this first 3 months.
Yeah, the first season I was in a contract dispute with the Forge, but like now that I got the number worked out, they're adding me back into the as a recurring character. But
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, go on.
I was gonna say like this is definitely a strategy that like worked out, and like I think what's really cool about just the area we live in general, this even feeds into the power ranking stuff, but like we are not afraid to like experiment and like try things, and I think that's very, very interesting. And not everybody's dropped Belmonts, by the way. My Richter's still kind of sick. Just saying, there's a great VOD of me with zero commentary and like one view, which is probably me on the YouTube page.
But it's on the YouTube page.
Yeah, I'm a god. But yeah, like I think we're not afraid to take risks. Like I think it's very easy to get comfortable.
Well,
and like
there's literally nothing holding us back. Like we could either just like play the safe bet, and then like you kind of grow to the biggest Smash channel, which at this point is obviously VG Bootcamp, and then after that maybe 2GG or whatever, or you do something completely different and you just kind of make your own audience, and that's sort of the path that I would like to think that we're on here.
Yeah, and even then, like the podcast was like kind of a big risk too, because like everybody and their mom has said it's like, oh, I'm gonna start a podcast. You know what I mean? Like I've done that before. I've been like saying it's like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna be the next PewDiePie, but now I don't want to be like the third PewDiePie. Like that's a whole
Dude,
totally different podcast.
We're shooting for T series. I don't know if you've heard.
Yeah, but like even this was a big risk, and like I'm glad that it's been received the way that it is, because I think we have been given a platform to be able to not only like convey national news to somebody that might not know anything outside of they're the stoop kids afraid to leave the stoop. They don't really follow much outside of the local stuff, but like we've been able to provide them an avenue to like to watch other tournaments, to watch the other regional stuff, to see, they'll know it's like, oh, wait, this event's happening what weekend? Oh, I'm not doing anything. I'll watch that. And like, I've had tons of people come up to me being like, oh, like, the podcast is great. And like, I didn't know that, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. And like, thanks to you guys, you were able to like teach me about it. And like, that's really, really cool. And like, obviously this is just a whole big, thank you to you guys, but we also want to, keep the hints of rolling that we do got some cool stuff happening like throughout the summer. Like obviously, because season 2 is going to get kickstarted pretty heavily with Suplex City happening in approximately 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, that one's going to be interesting. And what makes that more interesting, if you're for the local stuff, that's technically going to be the last bit of season 1 content we're going to get, because it's also the Tri-State Circuit, which
yes,
I'm looking forward to, because it's really under the radar. Really, no one knows about it, but I think once it plays out, people are going to be really into it. And that's basically what's going to be what officially ends season 1, but all in the same tournament. We get like kind of like a fresh one-off event. But before we get into that, I want to talk about some other tournaments in the spirit of keeping things moving. And, we spent a lot of time, like, as you mentioned, this was a big thank you, and kind of just like a little bit of a tying up loose ends for the first few months of work here. But there were a couple tournaments this weekend, and I think that especially for this particular podcast of ours, are very relevant, because one of them was won by Mars, who obviously won the Collision, which had all the crazy stuff around it. But
yeah, we don't got to go into greater detail than that. Like I think everybody's watched, or they can go watch the podcast and we'll talk about it.
They could.
Yeah, that happened this weekend at Full Bloom, which is a tournament I like. I forgot that like it was happening because like in the grand scheme of things, like every weekend is so like jam packed that you just kind of forget when something's coming up. But Full Bloom has been like a staple in the Midwest. Obviously, they've had 5 of them. It is held at Indiana University at Bloomington, and it just watching the tournament, like it looks super cozy. Like I think tournaments that are like held in like colleges and stuff like that are like really interesting and cool, and it's like a different kind of look. Like because everybody that plays Smash probably looks like they belong in school in the first place. And but yeah, that was very very interesting, and it was good on Mars because he's now newly sponsored Panda Global.
Well, this was his
Mars.
first tournament as Panda Global Mars,
Yes,
playing
and
against Panda Global Cosmos in grand finals, as a matter of
yeah,
fact.
and both of them had to play Panda Global ESAM and formerly Panda Global MVD in grand finals of doubles.
Whoa,
So
Panda
yeah.
Global.
Yes, pandas
Whoa.
are. I don't know if you guys knew this, but at the end of Hoosiers is actually won by pandas.
Yeah, so pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, but the event was a lot of fun to watch, and it's really cool because I think Mars, like, you say what you want about what happened last week, like he's been kind of on he's been on a tear. And like he's one of those players that like he's always had a hard time like getting the proper exposure because everybody kind of like knew how good he was. It was just a matter of like getting able to get him out of his own backyard because it's hard to go places when you're unemployed.
I'm pretty sure.
Not when you're unemployed, you're unsponsored.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've been covering this for quite a few weeks now. I mean, this is one of the guys who almost made the Summit, and if we know anything about Summit, it's a big deal because they're still running reruns on Twitch and they're still getting like 100 views. So I guess that's something. It's
Yeah, no, for sure.
yeah. So I mean, he's within that echelon of players now officially with the new sponsor and a couple pretty good wins tournament wise. So it is interesting to see. I mean, this is all stuff we've kind of been covering and whatnot, but I kind of keeping in the spirit of this episode and this local area, we had something kind of interesting happen locally, which I alluded to earlier. Kind of jumped to the TLDR, which was the Forge. The finale basically, which we got to see the likes of Mr. E, James, Wishes, Juice, a ton of really talented people that are debatably, like, you look at Mr. E, Wishes, and James, like, those are like top 50 players. They were top 50 in Smash 4. Well,
Yeah.
not Wishes because he stopped playing early, but, like, obviously had, like, the capacity to be, you know what I mean? So, it is interesting.
Yeah, like it was fun and it was cool to kind of shout outs to me for making round 3 winners without playing a game, by the way. 'Cause
Yes.
a lot of
Dude,
I'm
I
the
saw
fucking
that. I
best,
was just
man.
like, dude, like you actually
Yeah,
kind of
like
showed up.
except I wasn't.
Yeah.
But no, the event was a lot of fun, and like I'm glad to see like the more frequent crossover between all 3 of the tri-states. Which, by the way, speaking of, to fill our quota and our TV tropes page of bringing this up every week, Az had no idea that that Philly was considered tri-state.
Oh my god, I saw that, dude.
Yeah.
He offended Jay Moosh. Moosh to
It was
Moosh.
so funny.
Like he wasn't happy about that, dude. But like
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we've talked about that while he's been on this podcast, but that's neither here nor there. Philly
Yeah.
very very much rooted in Tri-State. In fact, I'm pretty sure that Bears is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Bears is on the. Or I'm sorry, Codename Bears. Excuse me, is on the Tri-State circuit. Right? Like.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive. I'd be surprised if RJ didn't do that. So. But yeah, so. We even got to see some of Juice, who I believe got 3rd this tournament, by the way.
Yes, he did. Yeah, shout out to James for once again going on one of those like destructive losers bracket runs where he'll lose. Even it wasn't even like that destructive. Like I think he lost in quarters or semis.
No,
or something like that.
I think he lost in semis to Juice and then ended up getting the run back. Or no, did he get the run back? Yeah, he did. Obviously, Losers finals. So yeah,
Crom nice.
Yeah, Crom is nice. It's the crazy thing though is watching James play Mr. E. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was kind of a bodying. And it was mostly like I think Mr. E, I think something switched in his brain where he just really understands his game and really understands Lucina really well, because he kind of just had like James in really strange places. He was kind of in the position where he would he would get an early lead on James, and then he was just like spacing his aerials really well and just like fade back like nairs, fairs, and just James like literally couldn't get in. Like it was kind of nuts. But
Yeah,
it was cool as shit to see though. Like I haven't seen Mr. E
yeah,
turn on like that in a while.
yeah. They everybody forgets that Mr. E is like at his peak was a top 20 player, and like he took a set off of zero when taking a set off of zero wasn't the easiest thing to do. Like he's always been a very consistent and good player, and he kind of goes through stretches where he's really really hot. Like he'll win a couple Xenos in a row. He'll win like a big regional out of state. Using a character that's kind of poorly represented, but Lucina is everywhere now. So that's not necessarily the case now, but he always kind of runs into a blender sometimes when he comes to New Jersey. Like, and James has beaten him before. Like,
Well,
that's
James, so they're 2-1 this first season apparently. So James beat him in winners finals, and Mr. E, I think he must have fell to Wishes, I think maybe in losers finals of like the first Forge. And then I'm pretty sure they played at a TCNJ tournament like really early on. And then this tournament,
yes,
Mr. E just kind of ran. So that's like their history, which is crazy though, because like James kind of was like sort of dominant over Mr. E in Smash 4. Similarly to how he was with like say like 6WX and a lot of those guys.
yeah.
But
He would
like
like when it's like Mr. E would like get like a set like every like 5 they play or something like that. But like for a while, James just kind of ran through him.
yeah,
But
so
yeah,
we're starting oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it wasn't TC and Japes. It was NYXL. Thank you, King. Good call. So yeah,
wrong combination of letters.
yeah,
But
very very wrong combination of letters. I forgot about that NYXL event. But yeah, so James won there. And yeah, these guys now have like somewhat of like a history against each other that is competitive, and that's the exact type of thing you want to see in a sport. Like, especially like you think about this, like two top 50 players, one from New York, one from New Jersey, like that's pretty hype, man. Like, that's good.
yeah, no,
That's that good shit.
yeah, without a doubt. And like I said, it's a lot of fun to watch because James tends to kind of like run amok sometimes, but it hasn't been as like tyrannic as a tear as I'm sure people could have expected. Because James still tends to take the backseat sometimes when we need a TO. He won't like risk that, and like sometimes he doesn't win everything he goes to around here like he used to.
Yeah, not like he used to. We even saw that in the second Platinum Star this season. I believe, yeah, he was TOing and had some family stuff, and then kind of focused on that and dropped a little early after kind of dealing with some of the frustrations of Leon's use of side B and Bowser. But like, but like, yeah. So we've definitely seen that more so now than ever. I guess I don't know. I think it was just Full Bloom and for us the Forge this weekend. I don't even really know what else there was.
There was one other event this weekend, which happened. I believe it was at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. CT Gamer.
Yeah. Yep, heard about that.
I always feel bad. Like I always feel bad neglecting CT because I want to give a shout outs again to my buddy Clipboards, who is the guy behind Great Value Smash.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great TO and community leader. Has a lifetime winning record on Riz. I mean, what? But
really,
yeah, he beat Riz at Shine.
Dang.
It was great. But yeah, he's a really really good guy, and their signature weekly over there is I believe it's called Syndicate or something like that. They hold it
Synthesis.
Synthesis. Yeah, it's every Monday. What's today? Tuesday. Yeah, so it's every Monday in Connecticut or something like that. They actually just moved venues to like it's like a Dave and Buster's like type place in Connecticut, and they like steadily are getting like 80 to 100 entrants every week with like guys like Light and Ling Ling and Pelka showing up every week, and they're constantly putting on a good show. And they held I think it was like a 200 and like 50 something person regional this weekend with an 80-person death pool. Or something like that.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, shout out to 128 plus people that showed up to our first Synthesis. That's pretty cool. South Windsor, Connecticut.
Yeah, Connecticut's a big ass state, by the way. My god.
Oh my god, it really is.
Yeah, and I want to show him some love because Clipboards puts on a great show. He's a fantastic guy, great community leader.
Damn, this looks kind of lit. I'm just looking through some of the pictures.
I don't know what Light's doing with his hands, but my God.
Yeah,
Um,
it's okay. Probably best not to.
yeah, but they always
Yeah.
put on a good show out there, and they ran a big event in Connecticut over the weekend where I believe that was won by Light. Yeah, Light won it. I believe Suarez came in second, and I think third was Lingling, if I'm correct, if I remember
I'll
correctly. I'm
try and
not
find the
totally sure.
bracket. This venue looks amazing, though. By the way.
Yeah, no, it's like a Dave and Buster's like arcade like family center place type thing. I forget what it's called, like Nomads or something like that. And shout out to Ajax for filming videos for the vertically impaired.
Yeah, man, just giving us the tour. Just got to turn our heads.
I think that's like a Connecticut thing where like people purposely just like hold the phone the wrong way when they're recording stuff.
All right, let's see. I just found the bracket, so it looks like I'm gonna imagine. Yeah, Light definitely won.
Well, that's the weekly. There's another event
Oh, I'm
it's
sorry. Yeah, it's
called
a
like
synthesis. Yeah, my
yeah,
bad.
it's like CT GamerCon that happened. It's
Right.
like
Yeah, I'll find that.
yeah. Shout out to convention tournaments, by the way. That's always an experience.
Yeah, those are like the ultimate like pop up events, dude. They literally come up out of nowhere. All right, now I'm pretty sure this is the one. Think I got him. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah,
we got him.
we got him. So as soon as it loads here, yeah. So Light did win. Suarez second, Lingling third. Kool-Aid getting fourth. Craftus, Rafi, DM, and Pelka. Yeah, that's a pretty standard top eight for that area, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say so. And I think Suarez and Light played in winners semis or winners finals. I don't remember, but I remember those guys always play like very, very intense sets. Like I think in one of the early Smash Ultimate tournaments, Suarez took a set off a Light, and then Light ended up winning the tournament. But obviously, like taking a set off his Light's like really hard. He's Mr. Consistency for a reason. And then they played again at Frostbite, and that was another nail biter. That was probably one of the best sets from that tournament specifically. I didn't watch much of this, but it looks like it was kind of a body bag in both sets. So,
Yeah, it kind
you
of
know,
does. And oh my God, they put the earnings on there. That's kind of cool. But yeah, so Suarez is the Yoshi out of Long Island. It looks like pretty much everyone else here is PA or not PA, excuse me, New England.
yeah.
Where's Pelka from? I know we've talked about Pelka a ton, but
So Pelka and Lingling are both from Connecticut alongside Light, whereas DM, Raffi, and Kool-Aid are from
I
Massachusetts.
see.
Kraft is actually from Rhode Island. So
Okay, nice little
yeah,
yeah.
so
That's a nice
Kraft
little New England tournament there.
yeah, Craftus and Pugwest kind of hold down the fort for Rhode Island because people forget that New England's kind of a big old it's a big old mess of states. Like there's Vermont thrown in there, there's Maine thrown in there. Like there's a lot of area to cover.
Yeah, it's part of the reason why it does get awkward still titling like the area tri-state, and even though like by modern conventions and by technicalities, like anything outside of Smash would include Connecticut, but like and likewise not include Philly, but for Smash purposes they do because Philly's within like the kind of better driving distance between like New York and New Jersey, and likewise New Jersey's in the middle, right? But like Connecticut's closer to like Massachusetts and Rhode Island, so it's like that's kind of why it works like that, even though it's still sort of not a perfect system there.
Hashtag Quad State.
Yeah, dude, I'm just trying to get the whole Northeast. I'm just trying to get the whole Northeast. So it's some Northeast, some Southeast,
I think
West
everybody
Coast.
understands that. I think everybody understands we're the Northeast. It's just like specifics. It gets kind of funny,
Well, I
but
don't know, dude.
we're, we're, we're just
I'm trying to get picked up by some sponsors here. I don't want some goofy shit about like inaccurate geography. That's all I'm saying. I'm
big fan of Quad State.
yeah, Quad State's cool. Um, so yeah, I guess that's the tournaments. There wasn't really all that much, but
Yeah, this is pretty. This is a pretty light episode. I wasn't expecting it to be anything meaty because we obviously have like the big stuff coming up next week. So
well,
I
yeah,
just wanted to kind of lay this out.
we'll have the PR next week, probably. Depending, like I don't know. I don't want to make any promises, quite honestly, and
No,
I don't want to feel
let
like
me.
we're under the gun. But yeah,
All
what do
right,
you
so
have in mind?
here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna lay out for you guys because I know everybody's gonna be asking me. So I posted the form yesterday on Monday. The season is technically not over yet. So I mentioned this to somebody today in a Twitter conversation where if you haven't submitted yet and you're watching and you know you're not going to any other events between now and when the deadline is due, submit your stuff. Just make it easier for everybody because you're gonna forget, I'm gonna forget, and then we're not gonna be able to properly rank you because we're not gonna go digging for your results. Like it's just
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
if
even
you're
gonna
not
know.
if you're not paying attention enough to know you have to apply, or at least to tell a friend, or to hear from a friend, then like I don't know what to say. Especially if like you've spent this much time investing in like tournaments and kind of coming out and doing stuff. Like just get with it, or help a
Yeah,
friend who needs to get with it. Like just
yeah, and I gotta say, I'm like really impressed with like guys like Kugi and Wishes and Pazza. They've all been really really thorough by just like keeping track of everything through the seasons. Because like I think everybody, like I said, everybody's just kind of caught on to the pace at which we do things, regarding this now. So everybody knows it's like we ask for a lot of results, we ask for a lot of bulk, and we ask for a lot of bulk and stuff like that. So we make it easier for everyone to everybody understands that if you want to get the best foot forward, you just keep track of everything as you go. Because look at that, like he
this is
lines out everything.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's awesome. So just
chronological, all the wins, like it's good.
we make everything easier for everybody. But yeah, so we will be collecting results through. Let me just make sure I got the dates right. Just give me 1 second. I gotta open my calendar.
Yeah, no
Yeah, we will be
problem.
taking results. So the plan is we're gonna be taking results through next Monday. You can it's a little awkward because, like I said, like the timing of everything's not always going to be perfect. Like, um, so we're, the PR itself is probably isn't going to be out like specifically. We're going to aim to have it out by the end of the week. That's what I'm going to shoot for.
Yeah,
Like we're gonna take the results on Monday. Through okay, this is all right, Justin. I'll give it to you. This looks pretty nice. I don't even like
yeah,
the brackets. Look at that.
yeah.
What a good boy.
That's the big one. Linking the brackets. That is a very good idea. Not that we don't have them, but like for your specific results, if we need to go in and kind of look at the way maybe the bracket looked. Although I say we, but I'm actually not on the panel. I just help present it.
Yeah, you're just kind of there.
I give you guys a lot of credit because it is honestly a ton of work. Like I'm
You know
just
the fly on the wall that like everybody always like exaggerates they want to be. You are that fly on the wall.
Dude, it's great. And I just like the presentation end of things. Like there's obviously going to be a podcast about this specifically, which will be the PR reveal. If you're interested in what that looks like, we've already done that. The final season of Smash 4. I think we actually did it the final 2 seasons, as a matter of
Yeah,
fact.
we did too. That was like our first official dive into the podcasting scene of things because I think that's when I forget. It's actually Haz's show that inspired me to do it, where he had a bunch of like the community leaders on from New England because everybody kind of does their own different PRs, and then they did a reveal show, and I'm just like, you know what, that'd be really cool. So I kind of borrowed that idea.
That has Matt, dude. I'll tell you, that guy,
Yeah,
that guy, it's a cool guy. Definitely knows what he's doing.
that's one whole idiot that I am a big fan of. But yeah, so that's something that we do. If you guys want to go back and watch some of the older ones to see just kind of how the presentation goes, specifically go watch the last Smash 4 one because the way that Chris flubs it up in the beginning, but it also sets but the payoff is so worth it, and it's absolutely fucking hilarious. I'm gonna go watch it right after this podcast
Yeah, dude.
is done. But the plan is, we have the forms in by the end of Monday night. We discuss it through Tuesday and Thursday, and I think one of us is going to be making the image. I think James or Biddy said they might take the reins on that because we don't. Usually, what we do is we like to have like a cutesy little theme, but because everything was kind of short notice and I didn't really have the everything was super short notice, and I had some people kind of fall through the crack last second. We're just gonna do something like super simple this time, but we did do something in the form of dude, I'm having like extreme deja vu. Oh my God.
Yeah, it looks weird because I just replaced the overlay with this one.
Oh no, you had to stop right there, didn't you?
I can't.
I have to find like even worse pictures of everybody.
Dude,
this
is I gotta tell you, dude, these are pretty fun to do. Like, these are
No, it's
enjoyable.
fun. Yeah, so that's something you can look forward to. I think I want to like precursor this by saying that like we usually do Tuesday nights for everything, but to kind of avoid keeping ourselves burnt out, I think we're gonna move the podcast to whenever we end up doing the PR reveal show for next week.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah, so we're gonna aim for like maybe Friday. I think Friday might be a good day to do that, just because it's the end of the week. There isn't really much else we're interfering with besides Bears. But yeah, we so just look forward to that, and everything's gonna come up nice. We I was able to get a cool little idea this season where we ask everybody a question to kind of throw on the PR to kind of showcase everybody's personalities a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, in the event that like, because I was kind of confused what to do with the bonus question, because like since we're not doing like a cutesy like specific theme this year, because I think it was a couple seasons ago we did Kirby hats, which went over very well, which I was a big
Yeah,
fan
the
of.
Kirby hat, cool.
And,
That
yeah,
was a cool graphic.
yeah. And last season we did the last text message you sent, which garnered some great results, and I was a big fan of that.
Yeah, it was pretty solid, honestly. Nice, simple, and like kind of to the point.
Yeah, like it's easy. It's creative stuff, and I have some better ideas for whatever. I think the end of season 2 we're gonna do something really cool, and I'm gonna, because I had this idea that I wanted to do for this one, but everything just kind of didn't work out. But mark my words, since the end of season 2, y'all ain't gonna want to miss that.
Yeah,
That was
dude,
a-
we're
that was
just we're just getting started, and that's something else I kind of want to emphasize before we end off here is like I kind of consider this the beginning, or maybe the end of the beginning. Like Smash 4, I look at Smash 4 and our existence in Smash 4 as like those 3 years between Naruto and Naruto Shippuden.
awesome. Yeah.
Where just like you don't know exactly what happened. There was like some really weird like what's the word, like like the not the filler story arcs that you just don't give a
Yeah.
shit about. Well, not that you don't give a shit about. Like those story arcs kind of carried us to here. So I love those story arcs, but
Nobody actively enjoys filler, but sometimes it's fun.
sometimes it's fun and sometimes it's necessary. So that's sort of how I looked at it. And then like now that we have like a whole complete season completed, all of a sudden things seem a little bit more cohesive. So I'm kind of looking at this as the foundation now. So what I'm gonna probably do moving forward is like you'll see the entire first season, which is the playlist, and then there's gonna be like a best of season 1, which will have like all of the really cool matches that happened. So you could kind of just
Ooh, I like that.
yeah, so it's like you'll have double up. You could watch either the entire shit or look specifically for something, or you could just kind of see what the highlights were. And I kind of want to ask for some help on this. Anyone who's watching this or listening after the fact, like if there's any particularly like interesting sets or really cool moments, like send them my way. I'm literally gonna make a whole collection of some of the best VODs from the past season, and they will have their own section. So if you think there's anything special in there, or if you think there was anything that carried a lot of weight as far as the season goes, or any kind of big wins or upsets, whatever the case may be sure to link them. I have a good idea of a lot of them already, but there's a lot of content here, and I obviously miss shit all the time. So definitely a little call to action for anyone who's still paying attention at this point. And by the way, if you are, thank you.
Yeah, the viewership's been good tonight. So, but, before we move on to our closing thoughts, just remember, like I said, submissions are due on Monday. The PR, I think we're gonna shoot for Friday, but don't hold us to that. Obviously, good. Friday is the tentative date for when we're gonna have the PR show and the podcast for next week.
And I think Friday is going to be the day before Suplex City, so that'll be actually
no, Suplex City's in 2 weeks. So
but like not this Friday though, because Suplex City's on the 6th, right? So after this week, then it's the 6th. So we'll literally
yeah, because this week's the 30th.
yeah, and then Suplex is the
Okay.
6th. So like if we get it out next
math is
Friday,
hard.
it'll be like I don't know, it'll be a pretty cool weekend regardless. I mean, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to do it, and I just kind of like keeping things on time. Like nothing worse than releasing a PR like in hindsight months later when results
Yeah.
are way different.
That's always shout outs to a certain state that we know.
Yeah, we don't have to say that.
Yeah. Y'all remember when Bankai was top 10 in New York for like 2 weeks?
Yeah, the best part is we were gonna try and get Devin on here and do some podcast stuff, but I sent him the overlay and I'm pretty sure he saw Power Ranks and he's just like, I don't want to be on there. And I was just like, yeah, I get it, man. Say less. Like,
Shout out to Devin.
I feel you. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for us. Catch us. Oh yeah, the thing that we do.
Yeah, we got to do the things. You do your thing first because I got a good one.
All right, let me hold on. I wasn't prepared for this, so let me take a quick gander at something. But yeah, catch us next week with the PR, and then the week after that, I'm sure we'll have plenty of stuff to talk about after Suplex City. So the juice is we got plenty of juice coming up, and I'm not talking about ZSS. So all right, let's see results.
As we do our closing thoughts where we give our shout outs of the week.
Oh, I got one. I got one. All right. So, this was actually I noticed. I didn't notice until I saw the tweet about it, but basically, I want to give a shout outs to Lemon Tea. The graphic won't load, but getting fifth at the Forge. And Lemon Tea actually has like really good monthly results, but kind of like not good weekly results. So he's one of those cases where he has a pretty strong argument for PR, even though it's like he's not winning weeklies or even necessarily always top eighting them. But regardless of that, he did have a pretty good weekend. I'm trying to remember who exactly he beat, but the one thing I've noticed is kind of like the consistency to his results, and he's kind of a name that was really popular early on in this area,
Mm-hmm.
as far as like people we thought would be leading the pack as far as results go, and he sort of stuck to it, man. Okay, so he lost to Odyssey and Wishes, and I want to see who he beat. Those are obviously two like very respectable losses. So it looks like he beat Dylan, who placed, I think, did he get fifth or something?
No, he got seventh, and Dylan beat Jen and
Yeah,
Odyssey. I'm pretty sure.
Dylan is
So
kind of a beast, and that's another ZSS. Shout outs to him. In another podcast, I highlighted Dylan, but I could still do that. Looks like he
yeah, for real.
Yeah, so Lemon Tea, it looks like okay, yeah, he beat Unknown, he beat Skyza, he beat Boost, Law, like that's honestly like pretty good. Looks like he beat you in a DQ. Or no. But yeah, so like in either case, like pretty cool stuff. Shout out to
Yeah.
Lemon Tea, but who do you got?
Well, I was gonna say, like I said, big shout outs to Dylan as well. Like he's kind of like a hidden boss in that whole like central Jersey area. Like he's did really, really well. But I'm gonna give a shout out of a different color. And I'm gonna give a shout out to my colleague and my homegirl Vicky Kitty.
Okay.
Because she announced yesterday on social media she's kind of like taking a break, due to school stuff and also community stuff. And I just wanted to say my piece because Vicky's a fantastic commentator. She works hard. She is able to juggle, being a high profile, esports commentator while also juggling school, while also juggling her own personal stream and everything else going on. And she's done fantastic for herself, and it's a shame that she has to put up with the hate that she does, like from the monsters in Twitch chat and all
Honestly,
that other
dude,
stuff.
she's a pioneer for what she's doing.
No, it's
Being
like,
first in as a female in anything is puts you in a really uncomfortable position all the time. So,
yeah, and like you said, she's been the pioneer. She's been the trailblazer for for women in esports. If you want to be a commentator, because I look at someone like Senpai, who's also like kind of followed in those same footsteps, and they're not only like colleagues of mine, but they're also like Vicky's also a really good a friend of mine, and I think she's great. And it's a shame that she has to put up with the shit she does. But that's my shout out because she's she got into Summit, she commentated top 8 at Full Bloom, she commentates all over the place. Like she is well traveled, and the purple looks great on social media. By the way, I'm actually just noticing it now.
yeah, purple is really good. I think that's
From
what
desktop.
I think that's what I use on my personal.
Yeah, I dig it. But yeah, shout out to Vicky. That's my homegirl. Big fan.
What would you have done if I did that, not knowing that you were planning to? If I was like, oh man, shout outs to Vicky, like for my, like, what would you have done? Because
I actually would have just like never come on the podcast again.
that would have been crazy if that happened. I would have
That
had
happens
literally
too
no
often.
reason, but like, yeah, it definitely happens.
All right. So this is the part where we vocally plug, and this is the part where I have to mansplain that we vocally plug our stuff because we do have a SoundCloud. If you guys haven't already, if you guys missed a part of the podcast and obviously like want to subscribe to to listen to things in full, I definitely highly recommend checking. Shout out to Cody, by the way. This tweet's great. But yeah. So if you guys like me, you can follow me on Twitter at KoopaNJ. I'm a little dormant for the next couple weeks. I'm kind of being a homebody, but if you guys definitely follow me if you need to be updated on the PR stuff. I'm going to be tweeting out reminders for the rest of the week up until the deadline. So definitely check me out there.
Yeah, and you could follow me at CSantoZX. I've been much more active on Twitter recently. I'm starting to engage a little bit, starting to kind of embrace having a forum to speak publicly about things. But I don't know. I could easily see myself devolving in the shit talk real quick. So please don't set me up. but either way, you could definitely follow me there. And yeah, if you are enjoying this podcast and you feel like you get something out of it, which I hope that is the case. That's really cool if it is. Please share it. Word of mouth stuff goes a long way. Um, the thumbs up does a lot in terms of like perception, and just people accepting it. We do have that SoundCloud, same kind of deal. We definitely appreciate you guys have been following along. It really does mean a lot, and I really do think of this as just the beginning here. So, everyone likes a good humble beginning, but that's going to be it for today. We'll see you next week for the power rankings, and then Suplex City stuff the week after that. But for now, good night. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next week.
Later.
Adeuces.